service employees. Kaya when you donate, that is very partisan.
Yes.
So, dili good pwede.
Then isa sa natural and juridical persons operating a public utility or in possession of or exploiting any natural resources of the nation. Kaya mahog lobbying naman
Yeah,
sa
lobbying. Umurag, doon na magod na sila franchise gikan sa government. So, it will give rise to conflict of interest.
Then isa sa prohibited raising of funds. So first kaning holding of dances, lotteries, cockfights. Of fundraising of an election campaign or for the support of any candidate from the commencement of the election period up to the election day. I think very common, especially in the barangays, di ba?
Actually, allowed siya provided nga dili for the purpose of raising funds for the candidate. So, padayon na sila. Basta dili lang para sa kandidato. Kaya doon na rabay uban nga madungga nato no nga doon ay mag-concert for candidate A, concert for candidate B. That is not allowed.
But kana nastoryaan nam yun na to, let's say na ay concert for, let's say, this certain candidate. That candidate can easily deny na it was not done within my authority. So what does COMELEC do about this?
Probably the candidate can get off the hook, no? Pero ang nag-organize, doon na sila election offense gyapon.
Kana nastoryaan naman to, 'di ba? I think na regulation as to the sizes of tarpaulins or billboards. I think what candidates usually do now is they would just say na it wasn't my supporter who did it, or again, it was not within my authority. So, unsa may gibuhat ani, is it COMELEC who manually takes these mga billboards?
Daghan tay paagya na. Doon na tay special task force nga kanang mag-operation baklas. Kay ang naglangkob ani ang COMELEC, then DPWH ug PNP. Now katong ingon nimo nga ang kandidato mo deny, chances are mo deny gyud. Okay, so ang atong buhaton na is do na tay gitawagan notice to remove. So pananglit do na kay billboard nga exceeded campaign size limitation. Unya wala pa gid sa designated poster area. Ang buhaton sa COMELEC na is padalang kag notice to remove. Ingnon ka nga do na mi nakita nga campaign material nga wala sa area nga gi-designate. Please remove that within 3 days from receipt. Otherwise, it will give rise to the presumption nga you caused the posting of that campaign material. So murag doon na siya statutory presumption nga ikaw nagbutang diha. Now what if dili gyud ang kandidato ang nagbutang? Kanon siya may mutangtang? Siya gihapon mutangtang tungod kay somehow during the display or publication of the campaign material siya nakabenepisyo. So siya mutangtang.
Okay, kay murag daghan man gyud kay ni karon. Diba? I think you'd see houses or schools nga daghan kay mga billboards. So what will happen here? Is there unsa man ni monetary fine lang, or is there criminal liability on the offender?
It is an election offense. So ang atong election offense no nagtangag na siya og ganti or silot nga 1 to 6 years imprisonment without probation. So kung ma-convicted kag election offense, do na gyud kay time in jail to serve, no? Kaya di ka pwede mo apply for probation. Aside from that is do na tay accessory penalties of perpetual disqualification to hold public office o right to vote.
Kana pahinumdom nakadungog na gyud mo 1 to 6 years.
1 to 6 years yun.
And wa pag yun, probation. Kana giklaro na gyud na sa tong election officer here. So next aning prohibition is soliciting or accepting from any candidate for public office or from his campaign manager, agent, or representative, or any person acting in his behalf any gift, food, transportation, contribution, or donation in cash or any kind from the commencement of the election period. I think common kay na.
Common kay na sa March, labi na sa mga probinsya niya. Kanang panalit doon na amateur singing contest niya. Ang unang ganti gikan ni candidate A, no? I-announce pag yun. That is not allowed. Number one, ang kandidato nga nag-donate, that's election offense. Ang nag-solicit is also guilty of election offense.
Kani mapulong-pulong, let's be honest, mga tao dili mo attend kung walay snacks, walay refreshments.
Okay.
How is that?
Actually, lisod kaya na pag-enforce. But ang atong balaod nag-ingon yun nga, kung dunay public meetings, 5 hours before the public meeting and 5 hours after, ginadili ang free transportation, food and drinks.
So, kaning mga hakot-hakot.
Ginadili na. Kanang mga libre. Kaya ang atong tuyo diha is, atong i-test kung nitambong ba gyud ang mga tao kay naminaw nimo or nitambong ba kay imong gipakaon.
But again, easier said than
easier said than done.
How is COMELEC trying to enforce this?
doon natin monitoring nga kung doon na sila public meeting o rally nga ipahigayon, kinahanglan sila mo report sa COMELEC within 7 days gikan sa meeting or public rally. So ila dito i-itemize ang ilang expenses. Kanya normally doon ay mo reklamo namo nga kana picturean lagi pod nga doon ay nag-distribute og snacks during the campaign period, pero it ends there. Kinsa nag-distribute, kinsa nagsugo para kang kinsa. So ang ilang ihatag mo na picture lang. So how do you evaluate the picture alone?
So again, reminder ni sa atong mga kandidato or mga supporters na to act within the limits set by COMELEC. Next, lawful expenditures for Philippine campaign. So first is kaning traveling expense of the candidates. Kay let's be honest, it takes money to transport supporters, di ba?
Yeah, pero mas may hisgutan tingali Marge ang ang unsay nga ang limit sa mga kandidato. For President and Vice President, ang maximum nila nga magasto is 10 pesos per registered voter in the country as well as overseas absentee voters. So we have more or less 54,300,000 registered voters. So dapat ang pinakadako nga gasto sa candidate for President and Vice President is only 540,300,000 pesos. All other candidates, 3 pesos per registered voter. Now, ang independent candidates, 5 pesos per registered voters. Nga nung mas dako man sila, tungod kay ang katuma kandidato nga dunay partido, ang ilang party mismo is also allowed 5 pesos per registered voter. So, mahog nga 8 pesos sila.
Okay.
Now, you might say, nga, gamay kaayo, it's so unreasonably low, unrealistic. The answer is yes. Because that law dates back to 1991. So it takes another act of Congress to adjust that law, to amend that to be more relevant and realistic. Ang COMELEC walay mahimo kung maunay balaod sa Kongreso.
Nabay nakaungong nga bill karon sa Kongreso nga i-adjust ni nga amount?
Yeah, I think doon ay mga proposal.
Kaya sakto ka, 500 something million. I think this was okay 1990s. But karon 2016
karon kaysa TV ads ng daan wa na. 30-second commercial sa usa ka dako nga TV network is 800,000 pesos.
Next is compensation of campaigners, clerks, stenographers, and other persons actually employed in the campaign. So, kani employment of watchers at the polls. Kani pangutana, kani employment of watchers at the polls, murag naminusan na ba ni nga automated naman atong polls?
Actually, wala. Ganahan gyapon sila magpadawag mga watchers o mga ubay-ubay nga kandidato.
Because I really thought na...
O not kandidato, ubay-ubay nga abogado.
Kaya I really thought nga karon na automated na atong polls kaning employment of watchers na minus-minusan. Kaya sa una, magtanaw man gyud ka, di ba? 1, 2, katong mukahon gyud siya, di ba?
Actually, wala mo gamay ang number of watchers, pero ni gamay lang ilang trabaho.
So kani printing of sample ballots so there's also a regulation as to the sample ballots being made.
Kana sila basta lang dili mo lapas sa campaign limits. Pero ang nindot nga balita diha Margin, so far as the legal profession is concerned, is ang bayad sa abogado dili appeal sa campaign limits.
So good news ni. Dayon, one of the items we'll be discussing is statement of contributions and expenses. Tingali makalimot atong abogado o atong kandidato nga nakadaog naman sila, di na sila mo file aning statement of
kinahanglan gihapon kay kung wala kay SOSE, dili ka maka-assume office despite the fact na na-proclaim ka as winner.
So nakay tips sa atong murag mga candidates nga who might think that they will be winning on how to file their SOSE.
Kinahanglan siya i-file within 30 days after the election period. So karon sa umaabot nga May 9, ang deadline nato is June 8, 2016 para sa SOSE. Then ang akong kuan lang tip is kana as much as possible, let's be honest. Kung di madag honest, let's try to unsay nga self-regulate. Okay.
Kay ako murag press atong sa kang rehearse to, I think no one really thought na i-audit siya ato, na na-audit ready, di ba?
Kaya actually nahitab na ito, I think murag wala ma-declare sa SOSE. But because ABS-CBN furnished us a copy, dito na kita.
It was as simple as that.
Yeah. Pero doon ay mga kandidato nga makalimot sa simple math lang, di ba? You just have to multiply. Pila akong registered voters, let's say 10,000 times 3, 30,000 na day ako maximum. Pero makalimot sila, mubutang sila sa 50,000. O sa SOSE ha. Yeah, you cannot overturn that anymore kay that is under oath.
Oh. Di na pwede mo file og amended
Di
SOSE.
na.
Because our candidates might think they can file an amended SOSE.
Wala amended SOSE.
Kani klaro na to, kaning SOSE i-file ni whether you lose or you win. Okay. Okay. Last na to nga topic for tonight is our COMELEC checkpoint. Any tips for our mga especially itong mga motorists, kung subjected sila to checkpoints.
Ang atong COMELEC checkpoint, usa lang ni kapaagi sa COMELEC pag-enforce sa gun ban. Okay, ang ato lang hinumduman is doon na tayo mga katungo dani sa COMELEC checkpoint. So for example, ang COMELEC checkpoint, actually ang usual practice March unfortunately is doon naghapoy pipilang mag-practice ani kana bitong panaugo ng mga pasahero. Kay labi na mga laki tanan naog, okay? Actually dili na siya allowed. Kung mo balibad ka, pwede ka dili mo naog.
Okay.
The most nga ang PNP o AFP mabuhat nila na is to request them to step down. Pero kung mo balibad ang tao, dili mapugos. Nya kana pod pag paisa sa shirt kay para tanaw ko doon na bay armas. That is not allowed. Kaya nga atong gipatuman diha is only the visual search nga equivalent sa atong plain view. So kung mo balibad ang unsay nga ni ang motorista o ang pasahero, dili nato mapugos. Unless doon ay reasonable ground to believe that there is something there nga gitago.
Kani pangutana sad, how come it's only public transportation which is usually flagged down? How come private vehicles, they're not flagged down by COMELEC checkpoints?
Actually, appeal sila. Appeal sila. Appeal gapon sila sa visual search, no? Pananglit ang imong private vehicle heavily tinted, nga di maklaro. Doon ay power ang PNP o AFP nga to order you to roll down the windows so that makita ang sinasa sa loob. And they can use flashlight para makita. Kanara. Dili pwede mo ingon nga ablihin ang compartment, ablihin ang U-box para sa mga motor.
Again, balik ko na to. When can an intrusive search be done by the checkpoint?
Kung pananglit, mobalibad ka, pugson ka.
Okay. Murag nahutdan nam kita og oras karong gabi una. Before we end this program, I would like to ask some parting words from our guest here.
Okay. Kung ano rin, I may sound like a broken record, pero for always, mo na akong parting shot. Nga, ang success sa atong election, to make it credible, honest, peaceful, and orderly, does not depend on COMELEC alone. It depends on all of us. Because this is a political exercise that must be done by all Filipino citizens.
Magpasalamat ko sa atong guest din si Attorney Ferdinand Gujilde. I know he's very busy right now but nisugot siya to be here. Then magpasalamat ko ni Justice Marilyn Yap for making sure that Attorney Gujilde comes here.
My pleasure, Marge. No problem.
Thank you very much, Justice. As always, Justice, she is past president sa Cebu Lady Lawyers Association and has been a constant supporter of this show. And to all our viewers, thank you very much for staying with us tonight. Thank you and good evening.